All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. I found this online. It says, won't die for Ukraine, thousands in Paris, rally for Russia ties, slam Macron, his European allies. I want to see what this is talking about.
The European Union clearly wants to push us towards something very serious. Look at what the NATO Secretary General said yesterday. We must prepare for a war of the same scale as our grandparents and great-grandparents lived through.
Mark Rutte said that a couple of days ago, man. The NATO, I don't know, he's like head of NATO or whatever.
Through, meaning the world wars, except that the Third World War would be thermonuclear, meaning with it.
Damn right. The Third World War will be thermonuclear. That's right, man.
At least 500 million deaths. Is that what we truly want, or do we?
Hey, no matter if you want it or not, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
We just want to resume a somewhat normal and calm dialogue with a country called Russia.
Paris witnessed a powerful show of public anger as thousands of demonstrators poured into the streets for a national march for peace. The rally, organized by Florian Philippot's Patriots Party, unfolded in central Paris amid rising fears that Europe is drifting closer to a major war.
And you know what? They're not even talking about it. Like over here, you see people in Europe, they're in the streets. Over here, they're in the streets too, but Mark Rutte, before he started talking to his grandparents or going to war and all of that, there was a conscription in Berlin, and he was very happy about that. You know, so here it is. You know, these people are gonna have to end up fighting. The war is closer to them than it is over here in Babylon, but eventually, you know, Babylon's gonna get involved with all of these wars: Syria, Venezuela, Ukraine, China, Taiwan. You're gonna be having war everywhere.
Protesters gathered at Place de Barcelona before marching through the capital, waving French flags, lighting smoke flares, and chanting slogans demanding an end to military escalation and foreign entanglements.
Well, listen, man. This is why you need to know the Bible, because Proverbs 21:1 tells you that you're dismayed at this. What are you dismayed about? As a matter of fact, Ecclesiastes 5:8. You're not even supposed to be in the street. Everyone loves the Lord. He already told you what he was going to do. And now that he's doing what he said he was going to do, you're in the streets doing what he told you not to do. This is how you know you don't know the Lord. Stop NATO's war. Why would you want to stop NATO's war? You should want NATO's war to happen because you understand that that's going to bring back the Lord that you love so much, and he's going to destroy all of these kingdoms that you hate so much that you're protesting against, and he's going to restore the nation of Israel. You should want Israel to rule, the true descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Placards carried through Paris sent a blunt message to the French leadership. Banners read, "Stop NATO's warmongering," Frexit, and "Macron, we will not die for Ukraine." Demonstrators...
Oh, yes, you are. You are. You know why? Because you're rebellious. If you're out there protesting in this time, you have a rebellious spirit on you, and you're going to be destroyed. You're ultimately coming up against the Lord. Let me grab this in the book of Ecclesiastes 5:8. If thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in the province, marvel not at the matter. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. So don't marvel at the matter, that the fact that your government wants to go to war with a foreign nation. It's prophecy. This is supposed to happen. And that's why some men are going to have different spirits on them in these last days, and some of y'all are going to be just like he told you not to do. Revelation 19:10, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai. Worship the heavenly Father, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So you don't have the spirit of prophecy, so you don't have the testimony. You don't have the spirit of Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. But yet, in your mouth, you say you do, and you don't.
Accused NATO and the European Union of dragging France toward a conflict they say ordinary citizens do not want.
Oh, well, you're ordinary. You're not special. You're not separate. You're not the nation of Israel. So this is what you get. This is what's going to happen to you. Deuteronomy 7 verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So it clearly ain't talking about you, those people that are protesting. Because you're not holy. You're not... which it means to be separated. You're in the midst of all the heathen. Tells you in the book of Exodus, what's that, 23:2, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. You're wrestling with judgment. The Lord's judgment is to destroy these nations for the wickedness that they did to the nation of Israel in the valley of Jehoshaphat, and you're protesting against it. You want them to stop. So you're coming up against the Lord, and you got crimes to pay for. You're going to pay for your rebellious spirit. Romans 13:4, for he is the minister of God to thee for good, but if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God and the revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. So you're doing evil. So you coming up against the Lord's sword instead of being aligned with it. And what do you think is going to come with that? It's going to come with judgment.
Footage showed long columns of marchers moving through the streets as chants for peace, sovereignty, and dialogue echoed.
How are you going to get peace? From your government? I thought the Lord was the Prince of Peace. Isn't that what they call him? Shouldn't you be asking him? Shouldn't you be believing in the Lord? Let's grab that in the book of... these people are foolish. Isaiah 9:6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. So shouldn't that be the world, right? And the government shall be upon his shoulder. So the Lord's government is going to rule. Okay, and his name shall be Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. So why don't you want the Lord to return so you can have this peace that you want so badly? You have no clue what you're asking for. You know not what you worship. Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. You don't understand the wicked is in power? You want them to remain in power and stop war? Or do you want the war to happen and for the righteous to rule?
Across the city. Addressing the crowd, Patriots Party leader Florian Philippot warned that Europe was heading toward a dangerous turning point. He said European institutions were pushing nations toward a conflict of historic proportions. Philippot cited recent comments by NATO's Secretary General warning that Europe must prepare for a war comparable.
You must prepare for a war. You must. It's written. Revelation 11:14. I'm prepared for it. I'm all the way here in America. Revelation 11:14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And as you can see, that's why he's telling you to get ready. This was already prophesied in the Bible. It's gonna happen.
Comparable to the world wars of the last century. He questioned whether Europeans truly wanted such a future, or whether dialogue with Russia remained possible.
I can never be reassured by von der Leyen, Macron, Merz, Starmer. These people deeply worry me, as they don't live for their people's interest or their common good. They live for, they have other agendas, both ideological and personal, so I cannot be reassured by them. And Macron has never reassured me, not during COVID, nor on any subject, so I have no reason to be reassured by him, as I'm very worried about these people, and I hope that the people will be able to get rid of them politically as soon as possible. So.
And that's what you get. They worship the beast. They worship his image. They're trying to seek salvation through the image of the beast, and that's why they're going to be destroyed. And I'm only bringing this up because a lot of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you speckled birds out there, y'all trust in your governments and think that they're going to save you. There's no salvation in these hills, man, these mountains. As a matter of fact, let me grab that precept that I'm thinking about. It's in the book of, it might be Jeremiah 3. It might be Jeremiah 3. Let me see if I'm right. Jeremiah 3 and like, Jeremiah 3 and verse 22. Return ye backsliding children, and I will heal your backslidings. Behold, we come unto thee, for thou art the Lord our God. So we're backsliding, meaning instead of following the law, statutes, and commandments, you're not doing that. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills. The hills is where you went and served idols. Okay, you went to the hills to serve a false god. And from the multitude of mountains, these multitudes of mountains, these different governments, you're in Europe, you got a different government in here in Babylon, you're hoping that they save you from whatever it is that you need salvation from. Ultimately, you need to be saved from the system that's in place, because this system is going to be destroyed. Truly in the Lord Yahweh our God is the salvation of Israel, not in hills, not in mountains. Through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, our God. For shame have devoured the labor of our fathers from our youth, their flocks and their herds, their sons and their daughters. We lie down in our shame, and our confusion covereth us. For we have sinned against the Lord our God, we and our fathers from our youth even unto this day, and have not obeyed the voice of the Lord our God. And you still don't obey the voice of the Lord our God. Their God is Satan. They might say it's Jesus Christ because they lack understanding. If these people actually had the spirit of Yahushua or so-called Jesus Christ, they would have the spirit of prophecy. They would understand why these things are happening. If I read something that was going to happen years before, and you see it playing out, and he's telling you these things are going to happen, and they're playing out in your lifetime, and he's telling you to wait upon him, like he tells you in Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter. Let me grab it. Zephaniah 3 and 5. No, hold on. Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, which are these heathen nations that have military capability. He's going to gather them, bring them in the valley of Jehoshaphat, destroy them, pour out his indignation upon them, that I may assemble the kingdoms. These heathen nations that got military capability, he's going to bring them together. He's going to assemble them to pour upon them my indignation. Indignation is righteous anger. They deserve to be destroyed, even all my fierce anger. So he's going to make a example out of their wickedness. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So he's going to show you judgment on these nations.
I couldn't possibly say.
So this is not waiting upon the Lord. This is you Israelites who think like these people here. Some of them are Israel in there. I'm not saying there's not Israelites. I'm not saying this is an Edomite, because he could be an Israelite. But where his spirit is Theo, oh, that's the spirit. That's the spirit right there. My man Theo. Let's go to the book of Luke. Let's go to the book of John. 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Let's look at this word, God. Theos.
Strong's G 2316. Theos.
Okay. He just made me think of that. Of magistrate and judges. Ultimately, it's talking about the elect. All right, because that's all it's about. And that's the spirit that, I just saw that. Let me keep going.
Say what their true intention is behind it, but I believe there's an excessiveness and a lack of appropriate gravity
He looked like an albino. He might be a
among Western leaders today that is simply not worthy of head of states.
I don't think we are sliding into a war conflict because...
Well, a lot of Europeans are smarter than you Americans anyways.
Thanks to the election of Mr. Trump and Vladimir Putin, there will be no war, actually.
No.
Those are the two that are pushing for all of this, man. You see on the Russian side, you got Putin's over there going into Ukraine, blowing up Kiev, right? Right on the table right now, as a matter of fact. I want to use that, but I want to look into my war map. See what's going on in Ukraine. Let's see what's going on over there. 4 hours ago, explosions were reported in Belgorod. 11 hours ago, a meeting between President Zelensky and U.S. negotiations with Witkoff and Kushner will begin soon in Berlin, the Associated Press reports. To go over this peace plan, supposedly. Another explosion was reported in Dnipro City. Explosion. 13 hours ago, the president's spokesman, the chancellery of the president of the Republic of Poland, proposed to the Ukrainian side a meeting between Presidents Karol Nawrocki and Vladimir Zelensky on December 19th in Warsaw. Details of the planned visit are being determined. More explosions. In Duck's plan, he wants to make this whole area the Donbass region. Let's look up this word, Donbass. He wants to make a militarized zone like he did with the Koreans. Donbass region on a map. Okay, so what's the Donbass region? Pretty much everywhere they're fighting, right? Map of Donbass. Oh, Donbass is all of this right here. So wherever it connects Russia, he wants to demilitarize this zone. And whatever land that Russia occupies, they get to keep that. Or at least come back into wherever the Donbass region is. But why would he go back to this when he owns more of that? That's not what that doesn't work for Russia. Okay? So this plan isn't benefiting anyone but you I can't even say you Americans. It's not benefiting anyone at all. Why would Russia lose all this land it already occupies? Number one. Number two, Ukraine don't want Russia inside of their borders like that. Number three, I forgot what the third is, but there's so many people that don't want this war to end for their own agenda, for whatever reason. I don't know why Ukraine these other European nations will want to continue something that, first of all, they don't really have nothing to do with them, but they've already supplied things. I think they want to go into Russia. These other agendas, whatever. They want World War III to kick off because they probably think with this war, I can implement they can use Russia as a boogeyman. Meanwhile, they're robbing, I forgot the saying that they say, never let go of a good crisis. Well, how much better is there a good crisis when I can put all this money and claim that we got to give it to Ukraine. Meanwhile, it's probably not even going over there. People are getting rich off of this, so why would they want it to stop? But the Lord's using all these situations to bring forth his righteous indignation. And we're seeing it play out on a day-to-day. Even though we prophesy in part and know in part, we're seeing the Lord work every single day. The Lord never takes a day off. He tells you in the book of Isaiah, I think the 40th chapter, Isaiah 40, or it might be 44. Let me see. Isaiah 40. And Isaiah 40. And let me start at 28. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord Yahweh, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. So he don't get tired, man. He's always working. When you fall asleep, you got to eat. You got to rest your body so you can perform the next day. The Lord don't operate like that. He's constantly doing work. Every single day he's doing something. Just because you're not on your watch and you're not looking to see if something's going on, that don't mean he's not doing something, man. He's always working. And if you were doing what he told you to do, you would see that.
Oh no, I'm not worried. I think reason will prevail, and that
I think reason will prevail. Ain't nothing gonna prevail, but the Lord's word's gonna prevail. So they're gonna still be foolish all the way up to. They see what's going on the horizon, but they still can never connect it to prophecy. This is them establishing their own, trying to cope with things that are going on. And then when that war comes to their door, when this MOTB comes to them, this is going to be all fresh. They're going to react in the moment. They're going to make the wrong decision. Ultimately, they're going to be destroyed. They're fuel for the fire. So all of this that they're doing is all vanity. But everyone got a lot that they got to play out.
people in Europe who want war will no longer be a factor by then.
This is absolutely not sensible.
Oh man, I gotta stop it, man. What's this next one? Duck comments on Brown University in Australia shootings. Let me see what he got to say about that.
And we're now going to go straight to the White House where President Trump is speaking about this incident. Let's take a listen.
Terrible attack, 11 dead, 29 badly wounded. And that was an incident.
If you don't know, there was another attack. Let's keep going.
And that was an anti-Semitic attack, obviously.
Oh no, they're starting to say that word again. The big bad word. That's the big bad word. Isaiah 29. Is it 29? No. Where's that precept at? Make an offender of a word. Yep, Isaiah 29 and 21. That makeup, let's go there. Isaiah 29, I was thinking 26 for some reason. Isaiah 29 and 20, for the terrible one is brought to naught, terrible one is Esau, and the scorner is consumed, and all that which watch for iniquity are cut off. Let me look this up. The point's in the next verse, but I forgot. What is this about? What is this about? This verse is a prophetic promise of judgment against the wicked powers that oppress Israel and pervert righteousness, especially Esau, Edom, and the ruling elite who mock, exploit, and lie in wait to do evil. The terrible one is brought to naught refers to the violent oppressor. The ruthless ruler who inspires fear ultimately points to Esau's rulership in the end times being destroyed, brought to naught, reduced to nothing, complete overthrow. And that's exactly what's going to happen to the nation of Israel. The scorner is consumed. A scorner is one who mocks righteousness, scoffs at truth, and despises correction. This includes false teachers, scoffers of prophecy, and those who ridicule the Lord's people. Scorner meaning mocker, derider, one who speaks arrogantly against truth. Okay. All that watch for iniquity are cut off. These are people who lie in wait to do evil, looking for opportunities to trap, accuse, exploit, or destroy others, especially the righteous, and that's Esau. He watches for iniquity. He's called the accuser of our brethren. Okay, so he puts all these traps in your path and hopes you transgress the laws, and he prays that you get put to death. He accuses you to the heavenly Father. Look at him, put him to death, Lord. Includes unjust judges, informants, accusers, and corrupt systems. Hebrew, watch for, shaquad, to lie in wait, to be alert for evil purpose, iniquity, wickedness, injustice, vanity, evil schemes, precepts. Isaiah 29:20 is a comfort verse for the elect. It declares that oppressive rulership will end, markers of truth will be destroyed, those who thrive on injustice will be cut off. This aligns with the broader prophecy of Jacob's deliverance and Esau's downfall in the latter days. Right. So Esau, 2/3 of the nation of Israel are going to die, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make a man an offender for a word. So when you hear that word anti-Semitic, if you don't have any understanding, you would think that anyone talking about the small hat is anti-Semitic. You call him a small hat, that's anti-Semitic. Meanwhile, the nation of Israel is being called black. You should be used to ridicule and things like that. Every nation got to go through that. But when you talk about him, now it's a different problem. It's an issue. But according to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, Deuteronomy 28, all these curses shall fall upon our enemies, right? Deuteronomy 28, verse Deuteronomy 28. Where you at? Deuteronomy 28. I forgot where it's at. Let me control F by word. I can't think of it. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. So the reason why we're not being called the nation of Israel is because of Deuteronomy 28, verse 37. We're being called a byword. We're calling a proverb of an astonishment. We're being called everything but the sons of God. Now, are we saying you're anti-Shemitic? Now, anti-Shem is the nations of Shem, okay, who come out that Shemitic line. It's not just it's not just Israel that came out the Shemitic line. Moab's a Shemite. Ammon's a Shemite. They're not using this word. They don't they don't claim to be Moab and Ammon either. But he weaponized the word so he can try to persecute you. So when you hear that word, just know persecution's coming. Okay? It's coming. Isaiah 29:21, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. Who's reproving in the gate? The nation of Israel. Okay, the elected Israel. They out here reproving in the gate. Amos 5:10, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. So the men of the Lord, they're speaking uprightly. They showing you, look at this, look at that. That's wrong. That's not according to the Bible. Look at these protests. Look at that. These are people who claim to love the Lord. They got temples all over the place throughout Europe, throughout Babylon, America, and ain't nobody rebuking in the gate. They're cool with the system. They're cool with how things are being played out. Because they lack wisdom. They're dead. See, the men of the Lord, they don't have a choice, man. It's like Jeremiah. 23. And where does he say it? Jeremiah. what did he say? He said, I forgot where it's at, as a matter of fact. But he pretty much said the word was like, let me see if I can quote it. When Jeremiah said that the word was in him like fire, that he had to speak, KJV. Is it Jeremiah 20:9? Why do I always think Jeremiah 23? Jeremiah 20, what's that about? Pashur persecutes Jeremiah. Yeah, let's see, Jeremiah 20:9. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name, but his words was in my heart as a burning fire shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. So you're forced, you feel like you have to, you're going to feel compelled to bring out this truth. Let me just double check, make sure that's the precept I'm thinking about. I think it is. So, what's this? Psalms 39:3. My heart was hot within me while I was musing. The fire burned. Then spake I with my tongue. Ooh, let me see that. What's this talking about? Psalm 39:3. Psalm 39:3 means David in deep distress and trying to keep quiet before the wicked felt such intense emotion, a hot fire from his inner thoughts, musing, that he eventually broke his silence to pray to God, seeking wisdom about life's brevity, realizing his days were like a mere handbreadth compared to eternity, shifting focus from worldly troubles to divine perspective, and ultimately finding hope in God, not human vanity. According to, that's a good precept. Let me look this up in over Psalm 39 and let's see what this is talking about. This verse shows the internal struggle of a righteous man who is holding his peace, yet truth and indignation build up inside until it must be spoken. It reflects the burden of understanding and the fire that comes with meditating on truth. And that's exactly what it is, man. My heart was hot within me describes burning indignation and emotional pressure, not carnal rage, but righteous vexation over sin, vanity, and injustice. Like, how can you not speak out against it, man? It's shut up in your bones, man. It gets to the point where all you see is wickedness all around you, man. Everywhere you see, you look over here, everything you watch, it's all wickedness. It need to come to an end. While I was musing, the fire burned. Musing means meditating deeply. The more he thought on the truth in the condition of man, the stronger the urgency became. That's right. That's why the Lord tells you to watch. Because that fire will burn out if you're not doing what he's telling you to do. You won't have that fire, it'll just go out. And there's plenty of shit that you can see that is going on out here. Then spake I with my tongue. Eventually silence must give way to speaking truth and wisdom. The righteous don't speak hastily, but when the time comes, they testify. And that's going back to Revelation 19:10. Psalms 39:3 teaches that the righteous often hold their tongue first. Deep meditation on truth creates spiritual fire. Eventually, truth must be spoken. God. Beautiful. Beautiful. It must be spoken, it says. Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Verse 7, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Yeah, so if you know you're being oppressed, and why you're being oppressed, how you're being oppressed, that's going to make you mad. If you didn't know before, you might have been mad for no reason. But now that you understand why, when you can come back and bring it all back to the Bible, then the Lord explains his law, and you meditate on his law, and you see his laws not being implemented, and then you think, I'm just a mere mortal human. This is the Most High God who suffered way more than me, enduring this wickedness that you see on a day-to-day. And it tells you in Ecclesiasticus 29, 23 verse 19, that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So let me grab that, because imagine if you saw every bit of wickedness. I'm only seeing parts and pieces, and I'm pissed off. I can't imagine seeing it everywhere. I'd be even more pissed off. Oh, no, what did I just do? I think it's 23 and 19. I think I put 19 and 23. 23 and 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret part. So he's beholding all the ways of men. He sees everything. There's another precept in the book of Job. I think it's 15. And no. I forgot where it is, but Job pretty much, let me see. Chat would know. Chat would know. Let me see what precepts. They give me nothing in Job. Nope. Job 34 and 21. That's what I'm looking for. Job 34 and 21. Job 34 and 21. For his eyes are upon the ways of man, and he seeth all his goings. See? Matter of fact, let's cross-reference this. Relates to the entire verse. Job 31 and 4. Doth not he see my ways and count all my steps? So if he counts your steps, damn, man. That's crazy. There's a scripture that tells you he knows how many hairs are on your head. But if the Lord's counting your steps, man, that's how you know the Lord. When the Lord said, I appointed the bounds that he may not pass. Let me grab that in the book of Job. He said he's counting the steps, man. Job 14 and 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So that's the Lord showing you, man. He knows how many breaths you're going to take, how many times. He knows it all, man. Genesis 16 and 13. And she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou God seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? I don't know what that's going into. Jeremiah 32 and 19. Great in counsel and mighty in work, for thine eyes are open upon all the ways of the sons of men, to give everyone according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. So there you go. But let me finish this, Salakia.
And I just want to pay my respects to everybody. I must say in Syria also, we had an attack in Syria, and we had...
So he's saying you got an attack in Brown University, Providence, Rhode Island. You got an attack in Australia. And now you got you had an attack in Syria too.
Had 3 great patriots terminated by bad people, and not the Syrian government. It was ISIS. Syrian government fought by our side. The new president fought by our side. But I just want to pay my respects to the families. We also had 3 injured, but 2 of them are already out of the hospital, and one's going to be okay. But we lost 3, so it was a rough day. But to Australia and the Prime Minister, to everybody that we know so well, we get along with so well.
And there go that damn eagle. There go that damn eagle. Actually, I spelled that wrong. Deuteronomy 28:49, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. And that's talking about Esau. That's Deuteronomy 28. That's part of the curses. He's the curse. He is a curse. Jeremiah 49:16, thy terribleness have deceived thee in the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. So you're going to bring this devil down. Obadiah 1:4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. So he's going to bring down Esau, man. And don't be fooled, man. Anytime there's a war or something, he's involved in all of that crap. When you read Revelation, the 6th chapter. Let me grab it. Because it was given unto him a great sword. Revelation 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. And he's vowing to go to this place and fight here and fight there. Wherever there's a war at, he's in the midst of that shit. Syria, I gotta go over, I gotta retaliate. Venezuela, I gotta go over there. Colombia, I gotta go over there and do this. Ukraine, I gotta go there. Oh, Taiwan happens, we're gonna help them too. Everywhere. Iran, I'm going over there. Israel, going there too. Isaiah 29:21, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing or not. And that's what he's trying to do. Let's see how far he's going to take this anti-Semitic situation when he did with the 2 DC shooters. Now he wants to use that to come against Afghanistan. Now, with this anti-Semitic thing, he might use that to come up against brothers on the internet, teaching the truth. So the famine of the word's right around the corner, which is prophesied in Amos the 8th chapter, if you don't know. So it ain't going to be the word. Don't worry, you ain't going to hear us much longer. Then you going to die for not knowing the truth. Amos 8:11, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. In that day shall their fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. So you ain't going to have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You're going to be operating off your own wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and that's going to leave you destroyed. And then the men that you do see operating in wisdom, you're going to ask for something from them, and they ain't going to give it to you. You're going to be literally begging for bread and water, and it's not going to be given to you.
We have a great relationship. That's a terrible situation going on over there. Think of that. And Brown University, great school. Great, really one of the greatest.
No, it's not the greatest. They use slave money. They only accept 7.8% of blacks into their university. Meanwhile, that's where they got their money from. Okay? So the only reason why it's great is because Israel made it great. These Edomites couldn't do that on their own. They did nothing on their own. Rape, rob, and murder. There's nothing great about them. Shameful spewing on Brown University. And it's probably going to be more attacks because this place is done, man. You clearly doing something wrong. The Lord ain't dealing with that place, man. More attacks, more judgment. You better hope the Lord's dealing with you, man. You robbing people, tuition's going up. It was built on wickedness. The people who invested in that place, they're wicked. They're Edomites. They're going into slavery for what they did against the nation of Israel. The Lord ain't playing with you heathen out there. You're going to pay, man.
Schools, anywhere in the world, things can happen. So to the 9 injured, get well fast, and to the families of those 2 that are no longer with us, I pay my deepest regards and respects from the United States of America. Thank you very much. It's a very important thing to say. And we mean it. I can tell you in Syria, there will be a lot of damage done to the people that did it. They got the...
I guess that's his way of saying you going to war in Syria.
The individual person, but there'll be big damage done. And the other, supposedly, they call them...
So one person goes up, shoots 2 American soldiers, you're going to do a bunch of damage in a foreign country. You're not going to find the perpetrators. I'm telling you, wherever them ISIL, ISIS, wherever the hell they are, America ain't too far from them. Wherever they're at, they there. So I can't wait to see what. I should probably look up some Turkish news because I can't wait to see what Erdogan has to say about all this shit that's going on at his border. I know this president's like, Lord, he's probably praying to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh to destroy these damn heathen, get them hell up out of here, man. Now this nigga's right at their border. This is, if you were running a country, this when you see the so-called white man, you don't want him anywhere near you. No, I want to help you out. I just want to say hi. I want to offer my condolences. Now get the fuck far. I would be like, as soon as you saw his face, grab your guns, load up, hurry up. What's his name say? DEFCON 5, I think Kanye West said. Yeah, it's time to step it up whenever you see Esau at your border. When I don't care what he could be asking for sugar as a neighbor. Load up.
A person of interest, so I'll keep it along those lines, so we don't get ourselves in any trouble. But they have a person of interest at Brown, and in Australia, you probably read there's been a very, very brave person actually, who went and attacked frontally one of the shooters and saved a lot of lives. So very brave person who's right now in the hospital, pretty seriously wounded. So great respect to that man that did that.
Do not pay your...
So anyways, there you go. And when you watch the reports, dude runs up, I found it right here.
You see the man in white there running up and tackling that suspected gunman. There is a struggle, and you can see he appears to wrestle what looks like a shotgun.
This is fucking bullshit, man. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, man. Are you serious? You let old Joe take your gauge away from you, man? This is Australia, though. Australia, you can't even have guns like this. I mean, you can have, like, this is the only guns you can have. The government made it to where you could only carry, like, hunting guns. He's shooting from far with a shotgun, man. I'm surprised he got 11 out of that. He might have a modified shotgun. And he still didn't put him to death.
Out of that man's hands. Now, the individual in white has not at this point been identified, but local leaders are hailing what they say were extraordinary acts of personal courage by people who just jumped in at the scene. It is very likely that that man saved some lives by appearing to disarm that gunman. We know that at least 29 people were taken to hospital. Among them are 2 police officers. Authorities are saying police were on the scene scene and engaging in a gun
This dude's busting off the
battle
bridge.
with these shooters within just minutes. Police are also saying that they found a car linked to the killed gunmen, which does appear to contain improvised explosive devices. Now, the bomb squad there in Sydney is probing that vehicle. They are looking for more clues. They are looking for more details.
Video appears to show moment Bondi Beach shooter. I don't get
details about the motives. And Willie, a massive police investigation is now underway, but we can already say at this point that this is one of the worst gun massacres in Australian history.
Wow.
We think
that's crazy, man. Australia is supposed to be one of the most peaceful places, most peaceful people. At least 11 killed in Australia shooting. I don't know. We're going to find out about that. That's some crazy shit, man. Going back to being circumspect, man. But I don't know how this has to do with anti-Semitism. That's what I'm confused about.
Now to more breaking news. At least 11 people have been killed and multiple others injured after a shooting on Australia's Bondi Beach. Officials reporting that at least 2 armed men opened fire on a crowd of hundreds there to celebrate the first day of Hanukkah. Police have declared this a terrorist attack, although a clear motive has not been identified. They say one...
Oh. Is it that time? They celebrating Hanukkah?
Suspected gunman is dead and the other in custody. ABC News 4 and
That's how you celebrate Hanukkah? You go to a beach, get naked? I don't know if that's how you celebrate Hanukkah, man.
Correspondent Marcus Moore has the latest.
Andrew, a horrific scene there in Sydney, Australia. Authorities saying this was a terror attack targeting the Jewish community, and we have a bit more clarity about how this
Oh, now it's making sense. So these are small hats. These are Israelis, I should say.
Folded. 2 attackers armed with guns started shooting at innocent people who gathered on Bondi Beach, this world-famous beach there in Australia. At one point, the gunmen were perched on top of a pedestrian bridge as they opened fire. Early estimates are that about 1,000 people were on the beach at the time. Many were there to celebrate the first day of Hanukkah. The shots ringing out around 6:45 in the evening, and remarkably, police say a bystander actually confronted one of the gunmen, wrestling away a long gun from the suspect, who then fell on the ground. Police say one shooter was killed, the other taken into custody, and now the investigation is underway. And police are looking at a lot, including the possibility that a third person may have been involved. They also found a vehicle nearby containing what authorities believe are several improvised explosive devices. So, Andrew, as you can imagine, there has been a...
I gotta grab it, man. That's why the Lord be putting these videos out so you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man, you got to stay away from these people, man. Proverbs, I keep forgetting this precept. Proverbs 11 and verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Okay, so though hand join in hand, man, you want to, either one way or the other, you always standing up for the heathen. And if you lack understanding, you'll find yourself in a position where you're being destroyed, man. Okay, you go to Exodus, the 17th chapter. I think it's Exodus 17 in verse 16. For he said, because the Lord Yahweh have sworn that the Lord Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So it's ultimately the Lord got war with Amalek. So you want to hold hands with somebody that the Most High God got war with? Nah, I'm good. I'm staying far from that. Why? Because read Exodus, the 17th chapter. Read it for yourself, man. The Lord got war with some nations, man. What's this? Oh, let me finish this.
Massive response from law enforcement, as well as an emergency response at the scene for paramedics. Dozens of...
And they just start screaming anti-Semitic? What if it's a mental health thing? You don't even know how many shooters are there. They're already throwing that word out. How can you prove that he knew that they were Israeli? How can you prove that? We want to know. Bring out the details before you start making all these types of accusations, you damn devil. Revelation chapter 12, verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. So you got to watch out. He's an accuser. What's this? It says, act of pure evil. Albanese responds after at least 15 killed in Australia. So this is saying 15 was killed just 3 hours ago. Let's see what Albanese, Sydney, Australia.
What we saw yesterday was an act of pure evil, an act of anti-Semitism, an act of terrorism on our shores.
How big is the Jewish community in Australia? I know Duck just sent them around 117,000, making the 8th largest Jewish community globally, primarily concentrated in Melbourne and Sydney, with roughly 53,000 and 44,000 residents, respectively, according to 2021 census data and estimates representing about 0.46% of the total Australian population. That's not a lot of people, man. That's pretty specific, so I'm curious why that gunman went over there. That's a small group of people, man.
In an iconic Australian location, Bondi Beach, that is associated with joy, associated with family.
Joy, I don't know, man. When Esau talks about joy and happiness,
Families gathering, associated with celebrations, and it is forever tarnished by what has occurred last evening.
It's very sad duty this morning to report that 16 people have been confirmed as being killed.
Now it's 16. The damn title says 15.
15 innocent people and one perpetrator. There were 42 people in New South Wales hospitals overnight, and the victims' age ranges are from as young as 10 to 87.
Last night I announced that I had determined that it was a terrorist activity and made a declaration as such as 9:36 p.m. As a result of that declaration, we commenced Operation ARQUES, ARQUES, which is a joint counter-terrorism operation. That is New South Wales Police working very closely with our Commonwealth partners to ensure that we thoroughly investigate the circumstances of the incident yesterday.
Yeah, well, you better watch out. Proverbs 11, verse 21. You did nothing. PM not a Jew reacts to horrific attack on Jews in Australia.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of...
On August 17th, the following remarks of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today, Sunday, 14th December 2025, at the government meeting in Dimona. What's he gonna blame it on? Social media platforms?
Australia, a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. I wrote,
how was that?
Your call for a Palestinian state pours full fuel on the anti-Semitic fire.
I love how he likes to tie this shit in with what's going on in Israel.
It rewards Hamas terrorism.
So he's condemning the government of Australia.
It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer.
See, now you can't. You talk about any form of making I forgot the way Esau puts it. There's no situation. You can't. I forgot how you put it, but it's basically like you don't make a like when the vid was here. You kind of make the best out of that situation, even though it's bad. You try to make the most policies you can put through in that time. You don't make a bad thing. I forgot how you put it, but it's basically whenever there's a situation that's bad, you try to get the most out of it for whatever your agenda is. But I forgot what the quote that says about that.
It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act.
Salakia.
Now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action, appeasement with resolve. Instead, Prime Minister...
Now, Australia, they already took these people's guns. They already took, so they can't even defend themselves against the government. But now they're going to take even the little bit that they do have, they're going to be taking that away too.
Sir, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let
the cancer cells. Oh my God, man. Don't get me wrong, man. You shouldn't be doing that, number one. But, when you understand who Esau is, man, wickedness is a cancer. Okay? When you're doing all types of, let's look at what Hanukkah is. Here it is, people. Hanukkah, Nukkah. What is it? Hanukkah, also called Hanukkah, or other translations from Hebrew, is Judaism's festival of lights. On 8 consecutive nightfalls, Jews gather with family and friends to light one additional candle in the menorah, a multi-branch candelabra. Hanukkah is a rabbinic Jewish festival commemorating the recovery of Jerusalem and subsequent rededication of the Second Temple following the Jewish. So they're celebrating something that's in the Apocrypha. To be Testament only people. What else does it say? So it's the rededication of the temple. When the Greeks were coming in there, messing up the temple, then they rededicated it. Okay, and so I get what they're saying, but rededicating the temple, going to the beach, that's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, who knows, man? I try to practice the righteous acts, and what I look at it is, I don't know. How did the Lord celebrate it? He went to Jerusalem. I don't know why they don't just go to Jerusalem. I want to be going to no beach to celebrate Hanukkah after what the Jews did. Desecrated the temple, putting swine on the altar. What do I want to say? I forgot what I was looking for. Salakia. Let's just finish, but not a juice.
To curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country, you took no action. You let the disease spread, And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. We saw an action of a brave man, turns out a Muslim brave man, and I salute him, that stopped one of these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. But it requires the action of your government, which you're not taking. And you have to, because history will not forgive hesitation and weakness. It will honor action and strength. That's what Israel expects of each of your governments in the West and elsewhere. Because the disease spreads and it will consume you as well. But we are worrying right now about our people, our safety, and we do not remain silent because they represent our common culture. Now, as a result of this, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said the following. He said, "Let it be known that if you target Americans anywhere in the world, you will spend the rest of your brief, anxious life knowing the United States will hunt you, find you, and ruthlessly kill you." We send our condolences to the people of America, and I want to say that our policy is exactly that policy. That's why those who target Israelis, target our soldiers, try to kill them or try to hurt them and wound them, as happened in Gaza yesterday, we take action. They will spend the rest of their brief, anxious lives knowing that Israel will hunt them, find them, and ruthlessly dispose of them. That is American policy. This is Israel's policy. It's our policy in Gaza, in Lebanon, anywhere around us. We do not sit by and let these killers kill us.
Don't sound like the nation of Israel to me. Exodus chapter 14, verse 14. It says, "The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace." So he's not. We didn't fight against Pharaoh. We didn't fight. I wish we had a military. That's actually I don't. I'd rather have the Lord, because in the end you're going to see why the Lord is much mightier. No one can be saved. What's that scripture? From the multitude of horses. I said a couple of scriptures. I think I'm mixing scriptures together. But long story short, the nation of Israel relied on the Lord to deliver them the battle. King David asked the Lord, "Should I go up and fight?" Because it's ultimately the Lord who's doing the winning. He's the one who's giving you the victory. But Esau, that's the spirit of Esau. Oh, we're going to ruthlessly hunt you down and kill you. That's the Edomite. He got the power to do so. He got his military to do it. That's not like the nation of Israel, who we don't have no power in this world. All of our strength is in the Lord. He's the one that's doing. That's why I brought out Zephaniah 3 and 8. We got to wait upon him for him to gather the nations. That's his determination. Our determination is to pretty much hold our peace. The Lord's going to fight for us. Just like he did in ancient Egypt when he brought out the nation of Israel out and he drowned Pharaoh in the Red Sea. And he's going to do the same thing in this time, just in a different way, but it's the same type of salvation where he's gonna be doing all the fighting. John 16:14. "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers." So this don't apply to Israelis who went in the land in 1948. Okay, just because you occupy the land, you can have all of that. You can have all the military, all the weapons, all the money, all the fame, and all of that. And we'll go through the curses. No one wants to be Israel when it's time to go through the curses, though. But everyone wants to go through Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, and not have to suffer 15 down to 68. Well, they're going to have to do that. Because you're in the land, you don't establish the law, statutes, and commandments. You talk about cancers. The cancer's going to spread even more because it's the wicked that are in power. So as long as wickedness is going out, more judgment, more all of this crap is more injustice is gonna happen, more deaths. Because according to Isaiah the 2nd chapter, these heathens shouldn't learn war anymore. There shouldn't be any wars right now if you're the true people and you're back in the land. Isaiah chapter 2 in verse 4, I'm going to end it on this. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares. So he still got swords. Swords are going into military capability, missiles, swords, military weapons and things like that, into plowshares, which are farming tools. And their spears and their pruning hooks, same thing, spears and their pruning hooks. You're turning your swords into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And it looks like you learning more and more. So you don't fit any of these prophecies of being the people, but you claim to be that. So when the Lord returns, he probably ain't gonna. Some of them are Israel because of Deuteronomy 28 verse 61. I'm saying all of them aren't. Israel scattered within all nations. I'm saying the majority of them are Edomites, Amalek specifically, and they don't fit the prophecies that's in the Bible once you have understanding. But I'm gonna end it there. Lord's will, this was edifying. Shalom.